I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2022. I was finishing up my second year of law school, and when you hear cancer, it's just like your whole world kind of stops, and just decided I was going to take a year off to deal with whatever this was going to be. And then I came for treatment here at Georgetown, where overall I've had a great experience, and I feel like God placed the right people on my team, and it's a blessing that.
Number 3 fire station is different, unique. There won't be another station like it, promise you. And you can ask any of the guys who were down here. Yeah, it's sentimental. My name is Charles Samuel Brown, Sr. I hired on the fire department in 1971. First non-white, okay? It was shocking for a lot of people. With the racial situation being as it is, and all at once you're sitting down at a table eating together, or you're sleeping in the same bedroom, it was different. It was an adjustment for everybody. And I thank all the guys that were willing to make that adjustment for everything to work out okay. Some people didn't want to change. Some people weren't going to change. And some was kind of looking forward to the change. So, but yeah, there was... I really miss the guys. It was a family. It was a... Number 3 fire station was different. It really was. It was like another family. Because some of the guys, when their daughters got married, I sang at their weddings. You know, some of the guys, when there was death in the family, I sang at the funerals. It was another family. We used to do quite a bit of charitable work. We used to, with the kids across the street, we used to cook a lot of meals and give to them, and you know, repair toys. Some cases make sure they got decent grades, because some of them had to bring their report cards over to us, you know, because a lot of them didn't have dads at home. And there were a lot of issues that mothers were having with their kids, and they would bring them over here. Sometimes we might use the scare tactic, but it all worked out. It really did. One thing I found out is that for people who want to get along, they can, they will. Damn near all these guys wanted to, and we did. I'm proud of the fact that I became a fireman. I am. I like the way everything worked out. We were a unique group down here. We were special. We really were.
My name is Julie Jenkins, and I'm grateful to Dr. Samir Sir and the neurosurgery team at MedStar Franklin Square. They recently saved my life. After working my night shift in March of 2023, I came home and went to sleep normally. When it was time for me to wake up, I woke up, but I slumped over, and I was seizing and not breathing. My husband had to call 911. I was taken to the nearest trauma center, and after testing and everything, they noticed that I had swelling on my brain and that my brain was not communicating with my lungs. I was fully intubated and having rapid seizures, but they really couldn't figure out what was going on. The area hospital where I was did not have the capabilities to monitor me continuously on a neurological scale. My husband demanded after 3 days that they send me somewhere else where they could monitor me in that way. And that's how I got to MedStar Franklin Square. Once I arrived at MedStar Franklin Square, I was put on continuous neurological monitoring, and that's when we began to find some answers. What we learned was that I had a fracture in my skull that had punctured the membrane in my spine, and it needed to be repaired. One of the major things that we determined needed to be done was surgery to repair the problem. And while this was a huge risk for me, I knew that if I didn't have this surgery, Dr. Sir informed me that I would be prone to brain infections and other negative things, and I would not be able to have a good quality of life. It was during that time that Dr. Sir really stood out. His bedside manner is beautiful. He has a tendency to listen. I was fearful. He assuaged my fears. He made sure that I understood exactly what was going to happen, what the side effects were going to be, how my recovery may look ideally, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. So as my husband and I really began to weigh the pros and cons of this surgery, one request that I made of Dr. Sir was that he please have everyone who had an opinion about the surgery to come in and see me. That involved 4 to 5 other departments within MedStar Franklin Square. Dr. Sir facilitated each doctor coming in, talking to me, giving me pros and cons, and it really helped with my decision. That's what made the difference in me deciding to have the surgery. After the surgery, the team took such good care of me on the ICU as well as on the cardiac step-down unit. The nurses were amazing. Dr. Sir came to see me to check that my progress was going as planned and everything was perfect. Today, I'm still in recovery, but I'm really looking forward to getting back to who I used to be. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother to 15. And it is amazing to me to be able to be here to see them meet their goals and graduate and get married. And I'm just looking forward to returning to my role as the matriarch of the family. As I reflect back on the care that I received at MedStar Franklin Square, the one thing I would say to Dr. Sir is please don't change. One of the reasons why I'm here and alive and healthy today is because of your bedside manner and the way that you treated me while I was in your care. Thank you. Thank you for my life.
I got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2022. I was finishing up my second year of law school, and when you hear cancer, it's just like your whole world kind of stops, and just decided I was going to take a year off to deal with whatever this was going to be. And then I came for treatment here at Georgetown, where overall I've had a great experience, and I feel like God placed the right people on my team, and it's a blessing that I was able to get my care here at Georgetown.
You know, she was in her 20s and now dealing with a cancer diagnosis. And she and I connected. I felt the need to take her under my wing and be her guide during her journey.
I think it took me a little while to process what was going on, and I think I was just like, I feel fine, nothing hurts, I'll be good. And she was just kind of like, no, this is going to be a tough fight, and you know, you have a good team, but also like we need to start getting this taken care of.
I think initially she was in shock of her diagnosis, and so I told her, Grecia, you need to make a decision. You need to have treatment. And so I think she heard me, and I said, I am like your big sister. You need to tell me, how do you feel? What are your fears? And I'm here for you, and your family's there for you. But I'm your provider, but I'm also your friend, and you need to listen that you need treatment.
I met with Dr. Maynard. She is amazing. Initial conversation, she hit me with a lot of like side effects from the chemo.
When patients are younger, there's many things to consider. One important thing is fertility preservation, and if patients wish to go that route. So whenever a patient has cytotoxic chemotherapy, there is a risk that it could affect a woman's fertility later in life. And so we usually try to refer patients to a reproductive endocrinologist before we start therapy so they can discuss the risk and benefits of going through some type of fertility preservation.
I went through the chemo and asked a bunch of questions throughout the whole process. Dr. Maynard has been such an advocate for me. I feel like she's one of the smartest people I know. It's amazing just how like she has the patience to stay with me and just go through each question, and she'll be like, okay, what else? Like no question is stupid, which is good as a patient to be like, okay, I'm being heard.
We got about halfway through therapy, and then her tumor started to grow, which can happen in rare cases. We immediately sent her back to Dr. De La Cruz to undergo her definitive surgery.
She told me, I don't want to look different. You know, I'm in my 20s, I'm single, I'm dating. How am I going to do that when I'm done with surgery? And I told her, Grecia, don't Google, because you won't find my results in Google. And I always tell that to patients because I went into this field to treat women, to take care of patients, to create bonds, but mostly to make a difference. The work of breast cancer treatment and surgery has evolved, thankfully, in the last 10 years with better implants, better reconstruction. You don't have to look like you had cancer. You could actually look better or even forget that you had cancer.
I feel like as a woman, you hear breast cancer and you're like, okay, I'm gonna lose like my breast and I'm gonna look different. And so it was great to work with Dr. De La Cruz and Dr. Song. They've been amazing. They really helped me a lot.
The real exciting thing in breast reconstruction now is the ability to connect nerves, and in some patients to restore sensation after a mastectomy and reconnecting the nerves to give that sense of feeling and wholeness to the reconstructed breast. Patients not only survive but really thrive after cancer treatment. We give them hope and the ability to really restore what cancer has taken away.
So it was really amazing because I love how I look, and also thankfully right now I'm cancer free, thank God. I'm really faith-based, and that's what grounded me throughout this whole process, just like having so much gratitude for all the things that I did have access to.
I follow her on Instagram and I know she's doing great in life and she's enjoying her time with her friends and her family. You know, this is the reason why I became a breast surgeon. And Grecia is just one of those people that have sincerely touched my life.
And now I'm finishing up law school, which is great. But again, I think now with this whole different lens to look at life, which is amazing, of like, hey, we're not just guaranteed life, you know, just because you're young or because you feel healthy. But now I get to dream, I get to explore and go on adventures. And so I'm just so grateful. Now I get to go forward.
My name is Dolores Elliott. I play left tackle. Today I played some guard.
What inspired you to start playing football?
So I played flag for 2 years and then found out about women's tackle. I didn't know that women actually played tackle. Somebody actually saw me play flag and directed me to tackle. And so that's what ended up me playing tackle. And at first I was scared, and then after my first game, I've been loving the game ever since, and this is my 10th year.
Oh, how has playing helped your confidence?
So when I first started, I was new to the Maryland area, and I had I knew nobody here. I came here and had no family here, nobody. So playing tackle has opened up like outside family. It's been consistent. I'm involved. It had like a support system that I've never had before. It has just been amazing.
What would you say to anyone who wants to follow your footsteps?
Stick with it. Be consistent, work hard, and you have to have the heart to play football because it is a physical game, a mental game, and everything else that come with it. But if it's something that you love, you will play it.
I'm Alicia Marfel, Coach Ghost. I am the head coach of the DC Divas.
What is it like being a head coach?
Oh, well, to be the head coach for this team is a dream come true. It's the best job on the world. Very, very stressful, very high energy, high impact, but it's generally kind of speaks to my personality. We go 100 miles an hour. I really love the people management. I love working with the different players. I really love to see different people learn at different levels. It's really exciting to be a teacher and a mentor at the same time, so it's the best job in the world.
How does coaching help your own confidence level?
Coaching helps my confidence level. I'm able to use the information and everything that I've learned over the past 15, 20 years in football and be able to give that to somebody else. So it really makes me feel good about myself and the career that I had as a player before me, and I'm able to give that back to the women, that come to my team and be able to teach them and give them that experience. So it feels really good.
What would you say to any woman who wants to follow your footsteps?
I would say, you know, to learn the game very well, play the game in and out, try to play multiple positions and learn all positions on the team, special teams, offense, defense, everything that can happen. And, you know, knowledge is power. So the more you know about the game, you'll be able to teach it. Also, watching a lot of film is a big way I educated myself. My coach, who was my mentor before me, really taught me how to break down film and look at film. So that's a really good way of learning of your mistakes and how to correct them, and how to better be a better coach and teammate as well.
For a mission!
Come on, Dana, break us out.
Kicks on three, kicks on me. 1, 2, 3.
Divas!
You're scared, you're excited, you're nervous, you're happy, you're so thankful.
This moment for little Jagger Nathan comes more than 500 days in the making.
So we got here April 9th, 2022, which would total 18 months in one day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that equates to 548 days.
Born premature at 31 weeks, an expected 6 to 8 week stay at Children's Nebraska continued with a series of curveballs.
All of these kids are snowflakes. None of them are exactly the same as another. And Jagger had this really interesting challenge.
Jagger had a very complicated congenital heart defect, and he was born with multiple other compounding risk factors, all of which necessitated that he be cared for in what would be considered a non-traditional pathway.
Early in the stay, things took a turn.
May 5th, 2022, Dr. Delaney came. He was more than certain that Jagger wasn't going to make it. You were very upset, and I looked at you and I just told you that, and I remember this very blatantly, that God has the final say, it's not over.
Through exceptional care and a fighting spirit, Jagger pulled through.
It was obviously very serious, and it was just so nice to have that much care for not only Jagger, but for everybody at a time that's so critical and crucial. Yeah.
That level of care continued throughout his stay, one that included milestones, visitors, and a pair of open heart surgeries, the second coinciding with the arrival of a new chief of cardiothoracic surgery.
Purely serendipitously, one of the things that I am really interested in and have a reputation for is complex two-ventricle repair.
Ram Kumar Subramanian is one of the country's leading experts in the exact procedure Jagger needed, which made teaming up with fellow heart surgeon Camille Hancock-Friesen an optimal solution.
The power of two surgeons, the ability of Dr. Hancock-Friesen to execute a very difficult operation to perfection, resulted in Jagger now having two good, well-pumping chambers of the heart with an essentially fully corrected heart physiology.
That collaboration and excellence further elevating the Chris Heart Center.
It's the next step for this program to have this expertise. This program continues to evolve and add expertise. We've got all sorts of people that contributed to Jagger's care. We had electrophysiologists, we had imagers, we had interventional cardiologists, we had the surgical team.
And on his last day, much of that care team, one measured in the dozens, bid farewell to the Nathans, who awaited a homecoming made possible thanks to nearly every specialty at Children's.
Every single team member, regardless of where they may think they are on the totem pole, work together as a team. Jagger's outcome is the pinnacle of teamwork. Nothing defines teamwork better than Jagger's outcome.
These are the wins, and these are the children that are going to carry on because of the investment that we've made in them.
I tell Dr. Hancock-Friesen I owe her a hug every day of her life, because she gives me the opportunity to give my son a hug every day, and we owe our life to him.
Between the sass and how funny she is, just everything, even the way she stands, seems to make people feel better.
Hi, my name is Noelle. I'm an athletic patient.
I'm Claire. I'm Abby.
And we're Noe's sisters.
She's always so passionate, and she talks like she's strong and nothing stops her.
Don't let go, you got it. We were just getting ready for a normal day, and Noe was standing on a step stool, and I heard a loud thump and turned around, and she was on the floor. I was yelling, get the phone, call 911, get your dad. Luckily, her doctor was able to squeeze her in that morning, so they drew labs, and the next day, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when her doctor called me and said, you need to take her to Children's. She needs to be seen in the ER. So she has leukemia. We grabbed what we could and rushed her out the door, and we got there, and I mean, all I said was leukemia to the front people, and she went back within minutes.
Noe was diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Leukemia in general is the most common form of cancer that we see in children. She was quickly able to start her chemotherapy within a couple of days of diagnosis. The first about 6 to 8 months of therapy is rather intense, and she's coming to the clinic between every 7 to 10 days.
The staff at Children's was phenomenal. They were always right there with her, kind of walking her through the steps. They don't do anything without telling her what it is first. She has her stuffed bear, Bear. Bear went through a lot of procedures before Noe did, so that way she could see what was going to happen to him.
Children's has always been that guiding light, that one that's like, okay, are always there for us. Doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and Noe has a tummy ache, somebody calls us back. And it's somebody who actually understands and sees Noe's charts and everything else and is able to give us that input. And that comfort is incalculable.
Noe is so empathetic. I mean, she looks out for other children even though she's going through the same thing. Her prognosis is really good. She's responding well to treatment. She does have some hiccups with the liver enzymes and her immune system's kind of not responding the way they want, but they're not worried, so I'm not worried.
For her age, she has the wherewithal and understanding already of what she's going through, and to face that and still like wake up and want to play and want to sing and dance and help everybody. That's the epitome of bravery, and I wish I could be as brave as her.
She had a normal stomach bug, some typical fever, kids get sick. And the next morning I wake up to go to work. I've noticed that she's really pale. She did have a yellowish tint to her skin, was really still. The only thing I can use to describe it is I tried to pick her up and she was like a noodle.
It was the worst thing you could hear is, Jesse, across the house, and I just wake up out of a dead sleep and she's like, call 911.
We went to the hospital, the first hospital, local hospital here. So we get there, and that's when we get the news that she's in liver failure. Things were just happening really fast, and they said, we need to transfer you to a place that if she were to need a liver transplant, that could do that. That was a big shock. We had no idea what would have caused her to be in liver failure. We were told that we're gonna have to be transferred.
And so they finally got a hold of Oshner's, and so they sent a chopper. They sent a chopper late that night. As she was lifting off, it was like, you would think like me and my wife would just break down, and we didn't. It was like the most peaceful feeling we had, knowing that she was going to the right place. She was in the right hands. They lifted her off, and it was like, we've got her.
Mia had indeterminate acute liver failure, which means after an extensive evaluation, we weren't able to identify what the cause was. Now, that's actually not that uncommon for kids. It's over half of children with acute liver failure for whom we can't identify the etiology after an evaluation. We think a good number of those are likely related to some sort of viral infection, however. And that's the scary thing about acute liver failures. These are really healthy kids one day, and out of the blue, seemingly catastrophe strikes, and they get really, really sick quickly. The only option for a patient like that is a liver transplant, and not only do they need one, but they need it as an urgent matter. And so we knew we needed to get the rest of the team mobilized to get her evaluated and ultimately listed for a transplant.
Amelia wasn't opening her eyes. She really wasn't responding. It was more so of just like moaning and groaning and not really aware of where she was and really what was happening to her. And so, you have to watch your blood pressure and your heart rate. And so I can definitely remember Jesse, he was like, Kayla, you are a mad scientist. The blood pressure goes up, you know what to do. The blood pressure comes down, you know what to do.
Every one of those ICU nurses were like champions. They made us feel like she's in good hands. She's in the best hands that she could be in at this moment. And as parents, those should be your hands. But when she is, in massive liver failure, she needs to be in their hands.